We're live now, Leader.
Okay, that's great. Thank you very much. So welcome to my Executive Member for Policy and Resources and Economic Development Decision Day, which is being webcast on YouTube via the County Council's website. Deputations, I understand there were none received. Is that correct, Louise? Okay, thank you. Key decisions, none, although we do have an exempt one later we will move into, as I understand. Yeah, okay. So non-exempt key decisions, we'll go straight into agenda item 1, and I think that's you, Emma, on the Leaders Community Grants. Could you give us a brief run through of the papers, please? Thank you.
Thank you, Leader. We have 3 grant applications for you to consider in the Leaders Community Grants this time round. Appendix 2 to the report, which I know you're familiar with, details the grants in more detail. So the first is Eastleigh Pride. Eastleigh Pride have requested £9,900. However, we recommend £2,850, and that for the reason that is that the local members are already grant funding this from the local members' grants, and the sum of £2,850 rounds that up to a total Hampshire County Council contribution of 50% of the total cost of the event. The condition is that the match funding is sought and found, and the local members are supportive of this application. The second application is for an organisation called Making Space in Havant. Havant is a levelling up for cultural place according to the DCMS. The request is for 14,000. In the same vein, we're recommending a 12,000 award, which is 50% of the project funding, on condition that the remainder of the funding is found. And just in an update to that report, Councillor Branson is supportive of this application.
Right, thank you.
And finally, the third organisation is SPUD in the New Forest. The New Forest is, again, a DCMS levelling up for culture place, and it's also an Arts Council priority place. SPUD are seeking 25,000, which is 19% of the project total. The condition for this award is that we receive a business plan and that match funding is secured, and the local member is aware of this application.
Okay, Emma, thank you very much. Like I always say, this has been through quite an exhaustive process, and I've been given updates all through these on there. Councillor Collick.
Thank you, Chairman. Just one question. Before I do, I just comment on the irony of the grants from Making Space and SPUD when we've outsourced so many of our arts services. It seems to be coming back round full circle. But the question I wanted to ask was on the Eastleigh Pride. We're recommending a grant that will top up the local members grant to 50% of the amount sought on condition that it's match funded. Is that a firm grant? I mean, for example, if other local members now gave county councillor grants, would that be taken out of the grant we give, or would they be additional to it? And bearing in mind that 2 local members have given grants, what's the relationship between what they've given and what we're giving? In other words, would any of what they've given be put back into their funds? Just want to understand how that works.
Okay, Emma, respond, please. Thank you.
Sure. In terms of the local members, 1,600 from Councillor Park has been secured and 500 from Councillor Parker Jones. We're not proposing to refund that amount to the local members because they've already committed that funding. And Councillor Parker Jones in particular did mention that it's slightly outside their area, so they reduced the funding that they proposed to give it, although very supportive. In terms of if any other local member chose to fund, we feel that with an application like this, 50% of funding is a reasonable ask. It is a very district-based event, so we would seek an applicant to look for the district or borough council for match funding. So our view is that 50% from Hampshire County Council is an appropriate figure. As to whether if more match funding came forward, we would then reduce that, my view is not at the point of this decision, because we have to draw a line at some point and give the organisation some certainty, but I don't know if my colleagues in finance would confirm that view. Or...
Well, I'll comment then, Emma. I completely agree with that, and I think, Adrian, you would understand that we have to make that decision today.
Yeah.
If there was, I think that would come down to the local member, I would have thought. But in terms of the decision today, we would stick at that point on, of that decision. I'll just go to Jonathan and I'll see if Rob wants to comment. Jonathan, Councillor Glenn. You're on mute, Jonathan.
Please let Rob comment first, because I'm at a tangent on this one, okay?
Okay, thank you. Rob?
Yeah, no, so I definitely agree we need to give that certainty. I guess one of the things that we could do to pick up on Councillor Collett's point is let the other local members know that we've given this grant and the context in which we've given it, i.e. we were trying to get to a 50% funding position. So at least they know that we've made this award.
Okay, I think that's sound advice. Jonathan, do you want to come back?
Well, the hook is the fact we've now mentioned devolved budgets, okay? And I bring this up because I've got Steve Foster in front of me, you, Leader, and Louise, okay? Yeah. Others might find this of interest. When we have a decision to make that we have an interest in, do we now just forward it to you, Rob Humby?
That's what I understand. I don't know if Emma, you want to, or Rob want to comment on that. As I understand, that's the decision that's been made, because we've had a few of these, wasn't sure where to go to. Obviously, if there was a conflict with me, it would then go to Ros and so on. Is that correct, Rob?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, Louise will know more than I do, but that's my understanding. Yeah, where you have a conflict, then it will go to the leader.
So so instead of forwarding it as I used to my good friend Steve Forster, okay, I just forward it to you. Does that mean you're going to understand why I'm forwarding it to you, for example, Rob Humby?
Yes, because it will still go through the process. I'll let Louise comment on that. Yeah.
Yeah, as part of the protocol, you do need to inform the leader that you are declaring an interest, and the usual emails will go to the group leader in consultation with the local member that you're wanting to forward it to.
So we should also do an email in addition to the straightforward forwarding.
I can talk to you after the decision day and talk you through it, Councillor Glenn.
Right, that's me done. Thank you.
Okay, so we'll take that sort of offline there then.
Yeah.
And Louise, because Jonathan has raised it, it might be something, a simple little briefing note about the process there, just to clarify it for all members, I would have thought. Okay, all right. Okay. Does any other member wish to make any further comment on the grants as set out in the papers?
Can I just say, Chairman, thank you very much for clarifying those points. I'm very happy with the proposed way forward.
Thank you very much, Adrian. Much appreciated. I can't see anybody else wishing to speak on that. So, as I can't know, very happy to accept the recommendations as set out in the papers on page 3. Lovely. Thank you very much, and thank you very much, Emma. Okay, so we go to agenda item 2, the appointments to outside bodies. Louise, we've got this. Do I need to run through those as set out? Would you wish, or you'd like me to actually run through them? Yeah.
Just run through them. Just who the new member's going to be.
Okay, right. So this is in my remit. So the Hampshire and Isle of Wight Local Government Association, LGA, Councillor Rod Chad will replace Councillor Keith Manns. The Hampshire Association of Local Councils, Councillor Russell Oppenheimer will replace Councillor Edward Heron. The Project Integra Strategic Board, Councillor Heron is to replace me as deputy. The Solent Freeport Consortium was the previous leader, Councillor Keith Manns. It will now be me, and I have to say that it's an agreement with the Solent Freeport that we agreed that Councillor Manns would stay on for 3 months, and at that point it would change over to myself, and that's agreed with the Freeport and Keith and myself. The Solent Transport Joint Committee, Councillor Edward Heron will replace myself on that board, and the Whitehill and Borden group was a board, was myself, and Councillor Edward Heron will replace me on that board as well. Is there any questions from anybody or from members on those new appointments? Okay, so we can take that as given then, Louise. Is that okay? Set out as in the papers. Okay, thank you very much. We are now going to just read a statement because we need to move into exempt session for the next agenda item. So that is that the public be excluded from the meeting during the following item of business, as it is likely in view of the nature of the business to be transacted or the nature of the proceedings, that if members of the public were present during this item, there would be disclosure to them of an exempt information within paragraph 3 of part 1 of the Schedule 12A of the Local Government Act 1972, and further that in all circumstances of the case, the public interest in maintaining the exemption outweighs the public interest in disclosing the information for the reasons set out in this report. So, Louise, no member's got to comment on that. Can I please ask that the webcast be stopped, please? Thank you. And notify me when it has.
Will do.